At first, they seemed perfect, charming, attentive, intense. They made you feel like the most important person in the room, like they had been waiting their whole life to find someone like you. And then, slowly, something shifted. The attention became control. The charm became manipulation. The person who made you feel so special started making you feel like you were never enough. If this sounds familiar, you may have encountered a narcissist. And the most dangerous thing about them is that by the time most people realize what's happening, they're already deep inside the relationship. Today, we're going to change that. Welcome to MindFrame Lab, where we decode human behavior. Narcissistic personality disorder affects an estimated 1 to 6% of the population. But subclinical narcissism, people who display narcissistic traits without a full diagnosis, is far more common. The problem is that narcissists are extraordinarily difficult to identify early on. They are often highly charismatic, socially skilled, and expert at presenting exactly what you want to see. The mask only comes off once they feel secure in the relationship. But there are early signs, and knowing them could save you years of pain. The first and most important sign to recognize is love bombing. Love bombing is the overwhelming flood of attention, affection, and flattery that narcissists use in the early stages of a relationship. They move fast. They talk about the future immediately. They tell you that you're unlike anyone they've ever met. They make you feel chosen. This feels incredible. And that's exactly the point. Love bombing is not genuine connection. It's a strategy, conscious or unconscious, to create dependency before you've had the chance to see who they really are. By the time the mask starts slipping, you're already emotionally invested. The key question to ask yourself in any new relationship is, does this intensity feel earned? Real connection builds gradually through shared experiences, through vulnerability, through time. When someone is offering you extraordinary closeness before they actually know you, that is a red flag, not a green one. The second early sign is the way they talk about other people. Pay attention to how a narcissist speaks about their exes, their family members, their former friends. Are these stories full of people who wronged them, betrayed them, failed to appreciate them? Is every conflict always someone else's fault? This pattern reveals two things. First, that they have no capacity for self-reflection. And second, that one day you will be that story too. The third sign is a lack of genuine empathy. This is the core deficit of narcissism. Narcissists can mimic empathy. They can say the right words, perform the right gestures, but when you look closely, something is missing. Their comfort is always somewhat formulaic. Their interest in your problems quickly circles back to them. When your pain is inconvenient, it becomes invisible. Test this early. Share something vulnerable. Notice whether they sit with your experience or redirect the conversation. Notice whether your struggles make them curious or impatient. The fourth sign is how they handle criticism. Everyone dislikes criticism, but narcissists react to it in a disproportionate way. A mild piece of feedback becomes a personal attack. A gentle disagreement becomes a full conflict. They either explode with rage or completely withdraw, what psychologists call narcissistic injury. This happens because the narcissist's entire psychological structure is built around maintaining an inflated self-image. Any challenge to that image, no matter how small, feels existentially threatening. The fifth sign is the subtle erosion of your confidence. Narcissists rarely attack directly at first. Instead, There are small comments, a joke about something you're insecure about, faint praise that somehow leaves you feeling worse, a comparison to someone else that seems offhand but lands hard. Over time, these moments accumulate, and you start to shrink. You second guess yourself more. You rely on their approval more. You become easier to control. So what do you actually do with this information? The first thing is to slow down in the early stages of any relationship. If someone is pushing for intensity, exclusivity, or deep commitment faster than feels natural, pump the brakes. Genuine people are not threatened by a slower pace. Narcissists are. The second thing is to watch their behavior, not just their words. Narcissists are often very good with words. They know what to say, but behavior over time tells the real story. Do they follow through? Do they treat service staff, strangers, and people who can't benefit them with basic respect? How do they act when things don't go their way? The third thing, and perhaps the hardest, is to trust your nervous system. Most people who end up in relationships with narcissists report that they felt something was off early on, a subtle unease they couldn't name, a moment that felt slightly wrong. They dismissed it. They explained it away. They told themselves they were being paranoid. You are not being paranoid. Your nervous system is picking up information your conscious mind hasn't processed yet. When something feels off, get curious about it instead of silencing it. Recognizing a narcissist early is not about becoming suspicious of everyone you meet. It's about becoming informed enough to protect yourself without closing off to connection. The goal is not fear. The goal is clarity, because the more clearly you see people, including the ones who are very good at not being seen clearly, the better your relationships will be. If this video gave you something to think about, share it with someone who might need it, and subscribe to MindFrame Lab for more decoded human behavior every week. See you in the next one.